Hey guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a tutorial on this hairstyle, which is my faux blow. Stay tuned to find out exactly how it's done, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with what I'm doing. So let's get right into it. So to create your faux blow, you are going to need a curling tong, a heatproof glove, although I have used an exfoliating glove instead when I haven't been able to find this, and it works just as well. But trust me, you will definitely want to use this if you're using a curler with no clamp. Some pin curl clips, although if you can't find these, you can use bobby pins. A tail comb, you can use metal or plastic, whatever you prefer. Some sectioning clips. For this particular hairstyle, you will need 5. You can use any kind of clips as long as they will hold your hair away well. And some products. I have a texturizing powder, a defrizzing serum, and a hairspray. All products are optional, but I find that you will get the best results if you're laying a good foundation with product. I also have a paddle brush, which has really nice soft bristles. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to turn my curler on, and I like to set it to about 200 degrees Celsius. There is really no need to have your curler any hotter than this. Any hotter than this and you're creating damage. That is completely unnecessary. Especially with your heat tools, you want to make sure that you've used a thermal protectant. I blow dried my hair yesterday, so I applied it before I blow dried. But you just want to create that small barrier between your hair and your iron to make sure that you're not burning your hair unnecessarily. So I just like to start by brushing my hair through, making sure it's completely knot free. Being a hairdresser, I can assure you that doing your groundwork before you go straight in curling is really important. I know you watch a lot of tutorials where girls just start taking sections of hair and curling, and that's all good and well, but setting the foundation for creating a hairstyle starts with really good sectioning. So for this particular style, I like to create a mohawk section. So starting around the center of my eyebrows on both sides, and I stop at the back just above the crown. The other thing is keeping your sections really neat is a really important part of getting a really good style. So I like to twist the hair up and make sure that there's no loose ends poking into other sections of the hair. So the next section is right behind the ear. So you can see I've just sectioned there. The ends are the most important part that you want to keep locked away. Same on the other side, just behind the ear. And then in the back, I like to section straight down the middle. The first sections I like to start with the sides and the top, and that way that hair is kept up for the longest, and it means that it's out of the way of the back. When I take my first section, I'm going to section off using the end of my comb. If that's a challenge for you, I'm a hairdresser, so I've been doing this for a long time. If that's a challenge for you, use your tail comb. And you want your section to be quite thick. You don't want it too thin or your curls will be too tight. The smaller the section, the tighter the curl. And we're going to curl around like so. You only want to leave for a few seconds and pull it out. And notice how I'm just holding the curl there. I don't want to let that curl drop. And then we want to roll it back up into itself. If you tighten it a little, that's okay. And we're going to use a pin curl clip to clip the base, like so. I just realized I'm not wearing my glove, and I'm going to pay for it later if I don't. Making sure that my sectioning lines are really nice and neat. They don't have to be perfect, but you want them to be tidy. And you can pull that section up so that it's not dangling over. Just wrapping around, keeping that hair nice and flat, so you get a nice ribbon curl. If you twist the hair as you go, it will create a completely different effect. You can be the judge of how thick you want your sections. If they're too large, your curls will drop really badly. So I usually like to keep mine about 1/2 inch thick. So that's one side completed. You'll also notice that I'm keeping my curling iron horizontal, and that creates volume at the root and it gets the hair into the shape that we want. That would be probably the main difference between using a curling tong like this and using a hair straightener, but it is a slightly different result. This is more of a classic look. The straightener curls definitely don't give you that volume. Okay, so that's the second side complete. Now we're going to move to the top mohawk section. I have a fringe, so this section is quite short on the top, but that's okay. I still use the same size barrel. Only needs to be a few seconds. This is where your sectioning becomes really important because you want to make sure that you're not interfering too much with the curls you've already done. But having that foundation of good sectioning from the beginning is the key to ensuring this hairstyle works really well. Please also make sure, guys, that you are not holding the iron on your hair for too long. You don't want to burn your hair. If you find that one of your sections feels a little knotty, you can run the brush through it before you curl. But you definitely want your sections to be nice and smooth, because otherwise, if you curl it around your curler with knots, it actually makes your hair look really dry when you go to brush it out. So the top half is finished, and at this point I would just give it a quick spray on each section. So through the back, I would more than likely start at the bottom, and just be careful of your ears because I have made some errors, my friends. Through these back sections, I usually just like to hang my head forward and wrap around. The back is always a challenge, and I often find that the back sections are the ones that I will need to use more than one clip. As you get a bit closer to the top, you will find it a bit easier to work because you'll be able to see in the mirror head on again. Okay, so that's our completed look for today. No, just kidding. Usually if I'm doing this look for going out, I would do my hair first and then do my makeup while the curls are upsetting. I would leave it in for about 20 to 30 minutes just until I know that all the hair has cooled right down, which means that the hair has properly set. But for now, I'm gonna go and have a cup of tea, let this cool down, and I'll be right back.
2 hours later.
Okay guys, it's been about 30 minutes since my hair has been rolled up. So now is the exciting part of taking it all out and seeing what we're left with. I always like to start at the bottom when taking my curls out. That way I know that all the pin curl clips have been removed, and that way the hair falls nicely and you're not fighting with your curls, because you want to try and leave them alone as much as you can. So as you're taking your clips out, try to not play with the hair too much. Just let it fall however it falls, because we're going to get a brush in there soon anyway, but we want them to just sort of fall however they're going to, whether they look messy or not, and we'll go back in and play with them soon. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's out. Have a little feel around, make sure there's no clips left in there. But as I said, I haven't really touched them too much. I've just taken them out and let them be. Now, at this point, I like to give it another good spray, usually from underneath. Let that sit for a minute, and then using my paddle brush and starting at the bottom, I'm just going to lift little sections, not interfering too much, and just give it a gentle brush. I know this seems really counterproductive, but we don't want this look to be super curly. This is what gives you that blown out look. And then using my serum, just a couple of pumps because you don't want it to go oily. I just like to run my fingers through the ends for a bit of shine, and it just means you can move your curls around and find a spot where you like them sitting. Sometimes I just leave it parted and tucked. Sometimes I'll put a pretty clip in. And if you feel like you need to add more volume, you can go back through and tease through the crown area. And then if you want to add some texture, that's where your texture powder will come in. There are lots of different texture powders on the market, some which you would tip into your hand. This one has a little pump on it, which I really like. And all I will do is just spritz a little bit into the ends and massage it in with my fingers. And it just accentuates the curl and gives it a little bit of texture. So throughout the day, this will drop quite a lot, but I actually like the way it drops. And then once you're happy with how it's sitting, you can give it another spray. So I find that this hairstyle lasts me a few days, just because as it drops, it looks different all the time. So it just gets softer and softer, and I much prefer this kind of curl to the iron curls. I will do a tutorial on iron curls because they definitely have a place in my life, but this is by far my favorite way to style my hair. It's super glam, it's super soft, it's super elegant, and it can be worn in so many ways. But the more you brush, the more those curls will loosen out. So try to not play with it too much unless you want that. But I hope you like this look. It's my personal favorite, and I hope you find it easy enough to replicate.